We've seen attacks that have led to, say, the enumeration of accounts. We've seen Citibank, for example, in the past had vulnerabilities where you could change a number in the URL and pull other account data. It's a little bit different when we actually start losing money from accounts, though. And I can't recall a time where we've seen numbers in the tens of thousands having their accounts drained of some number of funds before. I don't think I've seen that. Often we see emails that a small number of people fall for, enough to make it viable, but it's usually not in the tens of thousands of people in one go. So when we're looking at a number that big, we're probably more likely looking at a vulnerability somewhere in the platform or in the way their processes and the flow of money work. And of course, it would be a vulnerability which is exploitable at scale. This is not an approach where someone would have gone through one by one across that many people. So it's almost certainly going to be something more fundamental to the way the bank's either website or back-end processing is put together. Banks do normally do a very good job of their security. Certainly compared to other online assets, the security a bank has is far above and beyond what most organisations themselves have. Certainly compared to, say, a social media platform or an e-commerce platform, most of the time the banks are right up there. But look, at the end of the day, everything, if it's probed hard enough, will have a weakness somewhere or other. And I think the really interesting part of all this will be to see whether it was a vulnerability which did take quite a degree of sophistication in order to mount this attack, or whether it was something a little bit more low-hanging fruit. Now, we don't know yet. It's a bit too early, but that's certainly what I'll be watching out for. Look, it's embarrassing for Tesco, and of course it's enormously inconvenient for the people impacted, regardless of whether it was a simple vulnerability or something more serious. There's a bunch of people who've lost some money, and by all accounts they'll get it back, and I'm sure Tesco will look after them, but it's enormously inconvenient, and it erodes trust in an organisation that builds its reputation and its success very heavily on having people trust them.